Hey, everybody. I've just walked in the door. Perfect timing. Welcome to the fan cams. AAMI Community Series match. It's the Blues. What's going on here? We beat the Ds. We just beat the Ds. Very interesting match tonight. I think we can safely say that the preseason ends on a positive note. And with that comes a positive fan cam. So pretty excited to get stuck right into this. I've sent the link out a bit. I'm going to put it in the comments now if anybody wants to join in. We won't go for too long, or maybe we will. We'll see how much you guys want to stay up. But the link will go in the comments shortly. Hit the link, come in the jump into the waiting room, and we'll go from there. And let's get going. Pommy.
Oh, fuck me. How easy is this, eh? Like, honestly, gotta say, just before I start, huge shout out to the 172 people who stayed at home to watch me. I lost my voice Q2 and it struggled to come back. It actually hurts. I am crippled emotionally here in the voice, but it was well worth it, wasn't it? How good was that?
You've lost your voice in a preseason match. That is absolutely unlike you, mate.
I did say at halftime that I'm a complete fucking melt, that I've actually got so invested in this game. Because I gave a massive 20-minute speech at the start saying, don't read too much into this. We're just looking at processes and systems. And by the second quarter, when Viney decided to give it large to O'Brien, Pom snapped and started calling him a melt and PMing him on bloody Instagram. The old Pom we know and love was back. So that was good. No, honestly, let's talk about the football. We asked for pressure at the start. I asked the audience. That was probably the number one takeout. They wanted to see pressure. Interesting Pom start. 11 tackles inside 50. 10 of them in the up to the third quarter. We had one in the fourth, which was because of the change in the forward line. But last year, we averaged 8. This year, if that's a sign of things to come, that's 11. We haven't averaged over 11 since 2016. So, huge change. And probably my favourite thing, and this is a real obscure stat from Pom, is the wonderful clearance battle. We scored 46 points from that. Last year, we finished 18th. Melbourne finished 1 in that scoring. So that is a huge turnaround. That is something that, without checking too much, I can't remember many teams that have made their worst scoring change, their top scoring change. But that was our number one scores today from that avenue, which is a huge improvement and is one of the 5 stats that champions oscillate in the top 3 of. So massive changes. If anyone comes on the show tonight or you see on the internet says to you nothing's changed, you can tell them from your Uncle Pom they've got an agenda that's not Carlton Football Club.
I haven't had a chance to really think just yet. I just got home, just walked in the door. But when I look at tonight, the first thing that comes to mind, the application and the will to be intense at each contest. And, they spoke about, the coaches spoke about, getting around each other in numbers and running in numbers and being there for each other and supporting and being a powerful team and, playing with an intensity. And they did. And they certainly did that. And I thought the early parts of the game were a bit worrying. I thought the way Melbourne were moving the ball was scary. But we seemed to get that pressure up to a level where it needed to be. And, I think at the end of the day, like, we're asking about building a foundation with a new coaching group and laying, bricks. I certainly think we laid another brick tonight.
I don't think we laid the brick. I think you've got everything but the roof now. Like legit. I was never troubled in that game. I was never troubled, even towards the end. As the live can attest, I was as calm as I've ever been. I had no doubt what I was seeing was it. I asked for it for 4 quarters. We got it for 4 quarters. I thought what was really impressive was the goals conceded, especially in the first half. The goals that were conceded were boys trying to do that new kick that seems to be a thing. From the back pocket to centre half back, it's an attacking kick. It didn't pay off 4 times and we got punished for it. But what was interesting, and not many people will talk about this, Mitch McGovern had 2 score launches with the same kick. So that says he's got the balls to do it again after completely destroying it the first time. And that's reassuring because the good sides, under pressure, they do it again. They do it again. And what impressed me was the second half. Interesting that our key forwards for that half were Plowman and Parks. 2 guys that I went through the stats on the live, 7% they've spent since stats have been recorded at age 16 in the forward half of the ground. They spent 92% of the time in the second half there. And you saw the change. Carlton couldn't bring it to ground, couldn't bring it to the advantage of the small forwards, which seems to be a new thing. And you saw that it was very easy to exit D50. So I'm not really reading into the second half. Premier's kicking all them points. They should do against us. But we didn't have our tools. So really, there's no real negatives apart from Durden's calf tightness. But according to Voss, we're fine.
I was not aware of an injury to Durden. I thought he was just subbed out. Can somebody please confirm what actually happened to him?
Calf tightness. So evidently he was fine to continue according to Vossi. It was a tight calf. So it was precautionary.
I don't like to get too excited in preseason, but he and Owies are a problem. They are going to be a problem.
I've got to give a shout out to the live because about 2 years ago, me and Uncle Terry here did a video and out of nowhere, we talked about a guy that I really like, Corey Durden, and we picked him up. And I remember using the phrase, he reminds me of a young Tom Papley, and a lot of people laughing at me. But there was about 6 people in the comments saying, Pommy gives me shades of Papley. And it did make me really proud because I tell you what, Corey Durden, there's no one, when I watch juniors a lot, no one really stands out like Durden did. That excited me because I've never seen a Carlton player do it. And you saw what he's about, his willingness to go up the ground. I loved him getting stuck into Viney as well because Viney, I called him out for a fight in the live. I said, I hope I run into a pub with you. He's a complete prick, that guy, just quietly. But Durden got stuck into him, and that's what Durden's about. And I loved it when Viney gave him a little late bump, and I saw the light bulb go in on Durden, and he was like, all right, that's how we're going to play it, is it? Well, I'm just about as mean and a mean bastard like you. And you saw it. He tackles to hurt. And what I loved is Oliver. You know, he's got his soppy little mustache now. He doesn't like that physicality, does he? You saw him lose his head. He lost his head tonight. And that turns me on. Carlton flying the flag. We're not soft anymore.
Yeah. No, look, the principles were there. I mean, we can go on for forever. And look, it was. I also like that the D's got back into the game. I didn't want there to be any misgivings about what that performance was from us tonight. I wanted to be challenged. You mentioned it as well. I think the forward line was completely, decimated, and it was a trial forward line in that second half. I think also in defence, before the game, we know Wiedering's not playing. It's Oscar McDonald, who's had a pretty good preseason. Lewis Young, first game really in the ones, even though it is a preseason game. So there was a bit of a question mark around it, but I think we can safely say we got through preseason pretty well. And tell you what, the buzz for round 1, oh my God.
Well, I've got to say, usually at this stage of the season, I've got to try and fill you with hope and say, oh, well, Paddy Dow's still got to come into this side. But Sam Walsh has got to come into this side. Charlie Kerner's got to come into this side. Jacob Weir has got to come into that side. Fuck me.
I wish I could show all the smiles in the waiting room right now.
Do you know what I mean? It for me, that is an exciting thing that we have actual brand names, not people who could be good. All 4 of them guys I've mentioned, with the exception maybe of Charlie Kerner because he hasn't proved it for 2 years, are bona fide superstars. They're already best 5 in the club. So that is exciting. I thought, let's just, before we go, we know that Pom froths a handball.
Yep.
Fuck me, how good is that handball, man? Through the corridor, bro.
It's going to change us. It'll change us.
Who is it? Someone in the comments said, are we actually watching Carlton or is it banter?
Yeah.
I actually thought it was banter at the halfway point.
It's going to
I was like,
absolutely
this isn't
change
real.
us. Yeah. No, it's true. It's going to change us the way we play. I'm excited for it. I don't want to get too excited, but I am excited. I'm really excited.
Honestly, Uncle Pom says, pop the fucking lid, right? Come on. I'm sick of always having a cry and having a suck and going, oh, this happens. Just for once, let's just be happy our team has put on a show for us and done well. And spoke to my mate just after the game, who's a big Melbourne fan. He works over there. They're disappointed tonight. Mark my words. Mark my words. They're disappointed. They wanted to win. They wanted to go into the season with a win. And he did say, he gave me the best compliment. You boys are tough now. Tough.
It's good. It's good to hear. Pommy, I'm going to love you and leave you, mate. Got plenty to get through. Thanks for getting amongst the watch along, and enjoy that, mate. Enjoy that drink.
Well, just a shout out to Tim P as well. I texted my box and told him I'm sick, and he said, no, you're not. I saw the watch along, but you can have tomorrow off and work from home. So shout out to him.
Shout out to him. Cheers, brother. Ugur Koken, he's back with an $80 donation. Thank you very much. That's very, very generous of you, mate. All right, let's get, I think Joey's here in the car. Joe, is that you in the car?
I am in the car. I'm just on the way back, but I've pulled over.
Okay. Well done.
If you want the fucking lid to come off, I'm about to bring it right off. I am about to bring it right off. Forget about the second half. Forget about it. Don't worry about it. We had Plowman, Cottrell, Parks, 3 key forward targets. Forget it. They still couldn't get the job done. This is where it's at. Mitch McGovern. Was that Mitch or Jeremy? You tell me. Was it Mitch or Jeremy? Tell me.
I think it was Mitch, but
that was Jez.
It had a bit of jizz about it. It had a bit of jizz about it.
That was Jez. That was Jez. Number 2, Adam Chera is sexy as fuck. No other way to put it. Sexy footballer. Number 2. Number 3, Cripper is back. Don't worry about it. He's back. 2019, he's going to go above and beyond. And number 4, this is the one. This is the one that you all need to remember. I said it on the podcast this week. Matt, don't worry about George Hewitt, Adam Chera, Sam Walsh, Matt fucking Kennedy. He's about to go to another level. We've got a fucking star in the making on our hands, people. Wow. Star. Oh, lids off. Lids off. It's fucking right off. I have kept the lid on very tightly all fucking off season.
You've muted yourself. I don't know what's going on. We'll wait for Joe to come back. I don't know what's happened there. I don't know where he's at. We'll get him back in, but he's popped his lid. Here he is. Here he is. Mate, what have you done?
It's all right. Cut out. The worst time to cut out. Lid's off. Lid is off. Right off.
We sat here last week and you were not totally convinced. So what changed?
What I saw tonight in that first half, that was a demolition job. I don't care if it's a practice match. We did what we needed to do. We came out and we played football. We were a football side tonight. Football. I haven't seen that in 4 fucking years. Football. Unbelievable. Hitting targets, making plays. Intent was there. Tackling was there. Lids off. That's it.
Charlie, Walsh,
and
Harry.
We've got players coming back, man. We got players coming back. Forget about it. Forget about it. Flag. Done.
I'm happy to see it.
Thanks for coming. See you later.
See you, mate. Oh, wow. Who do you bring on after that? Goodness me. That was brilliant. Jack.
Hey.
Everyone's got a smile on their face tonight. It's just a good time to be alive.
Mate, should I just throw my notes out? Because now I feel like an idiot. Joe's just gone off. Here I am trying to be analytical. Far out.
In defense to Joe does not throw the lid away. He's been really tight with it all preseason. So if he's that up and about, I mean, I can look forward to seeing what else is to come here tonight. But, mate, what do you take from tonight?
Well, I've got my notes here. Where are we? Where are we? I think what I like the most is when that momentum came from Melbourne.
Yep.
And although the goals still came for Melbourne, the one thing that you can see is that they made it really hard for them to move the ball. It wasn't like last year where it was centre clearance goal, centre clearance goal, centre clearance goal. At least this time in their momentum, we were able to stagger them, and it wasn't easy. Like they got a goal a few minutes in between, then another one a few minutes in between. So it wasn't like an avalanche, and that's progression. And you can see they're really working hard to do that, because that's going to come a lot a lot this year, and you've just got to be ready for it. And I'm just happy that that it just seems that they're working on it, and that's what I'm happy about. Like I think this year it's going to be maybe a bit of a year of old habits dying hard, but I'm actually proud of them because you can see the work they've put in to their deficiencies. Like you can see it.
I think at the end of the day, I agree. I mean, I am very mindful of things taking time and a new game plan and a new system and the way we want to move the ball. And I can totally understand that, and I can actually buy the patience. But the reality is, I think we as fans will accept a loss if we're hunting the way we hunted tonight for 4 quarters. I mean, you don't need to be coached so much to see the will to attack each contest the way they did tonight. That was the thing that stood out for me, the willingness to want to play a really tough brand of football. I mean, even I was sitting on the wing, even like Lockie O'Brien, not known for physicality, but the way he wanted to crack in, it was just refreshing to see. And like the overlap running, moving forward, that's going to get better. That's absolutely going to get better. And look, the application to the task tonight is the overall story for me.
Yeah, I can see exactly what you're saying, man. And one thing you touched on with the coaching, I think what we saw today is the effect that coaches who actually have an idea can make.
Yeah.
You know, like even if it's a confidence thing, it doesn't have to be really analytical, but like you said, O'Brien, the way he went in for the footy, back him in after his mistakes. I'm happy to wear his mistakes because I can see he's a footballer. But I think, these coaches, it's really evident that a good coaching group can make a big difference.
Mm-hmm.
So just what the hell were we doing for 2 years? Honestly, like you compare that that's like 1-2 practice games, and what were we doing for 2 years, mate? Like it's unbelievable. Look, but there are some concerns. But yeah.
Well, what are they? What I mean, not everything was perfect tonight. So, what are the concerns going into round 1 for you?
Mainly to do with old habits, mate. Like 4-goal run, it happened. Although I said it came a lot harder for Melbourne to do it, but it still happened. We still gave up a lead. I understand after half time, Harry didn't play and a few others didn't play, like Jack Silvani. But it's going to be a process to really iron it out and take that step to become that team that we want to become. In terms of an individual point of view, I think McDonald's a worry.
What?
Now, I know he did some nice things. Yeah.
What?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know. Don't get me wrong, he did some good things. Like he did some, especially late, but I don't know.
Jad.
I'm not a believer yet.
You are entitled to your opinion, sir, but I need you to watch the tape again.
I'm going to watch the game after, but I'm standing by it. I think it's a bit of a worry, especially for Jonesy, for the absence of Jones.
Yeah, if that's how you see it, that's totally fair enough. What I'm noticing about this back line and the way it's going to work is Wiedering and Jones thing of 2021. We're now using Wiedering, McDonald, and McGovern to fill the role that Wiedering and Jones were playing, whereby McDonald's a little bit more just a role player, lockdown, not looking to intercept, just bring the ball to ground. McGovern will do the intercepting. But if you see it that way, you see it that way. I thought Oscar was mighty fine tonight.
On what you said though, I think that all three of them teaming up to take over Jones's role, that's probably going to be a huge positive in the long run.
Yeah,
because we can't have a 2-man defense forever. So
no.
Yeah, so that may turn out to be a huge positive. And still, just the spoiling of own teammates spoiling each other, it's still there. But again, it's an old habit that I think will get ironed out eventually. And one thing I do want to touch on as well is, I know it's a practice game, but I remember last year I was on fan cams with you after the Saints practice game, and I was filthy. I remember I had like a little mini meltdown after that game, because these games matter for us. Yeah, the practice last year, but these games matter for us. And the way we played the game today is exactly how we have to play these games. It matters for us. Melbourne, not so much, but for us, these are huge. So now we get to go into round one with a bit of form. I'm just really happy they took the game seriously. They played it how they were meant to play it. They didn't try, treat it like a practice game. So I'm very pleased with that as well.
No, fair. I love it. I love to disagree. It's good stuff.
We'll see, mate. I'm happy to eat my words, but we'll see.
Yeah, no. It's a good thing to look out for. You got to look at it from both sides of the equation. So no, that's good. Well, listen, preseason's done. Round one's upon us. Are you feeling good about it? Before I let you go, you feeling good about round one? I
am. I don't know if it means a win, but I'm fairly confident they're going to put in a good showing. Yeah. It has to be a good performance. I think it will be. Mate, who knows? We may actually smash them. Who the fuck knows? Maybe that'll happen.
All right, brother. Good to chat with you.
Yeah. Enjoy.
See ya. Paolo.
Tez, hello, mate.
I'm just out here being the number one ticket holder of the Oscar McDonald fan club.
Jeez, he's copping a bit of hate, isn't he? What's all that about?
I haven't checked.
I don't know. Like, there's no like. I know Adonis was not. Destunis was not happy with him. I just saw the comment and I thought, "Come, Adonis, mate. Jeez, come on, get around." I'll tell you who's a sick puppy though, mate. That Joseph Adamo, he needs help, mate. You need serious help, Joey.
He's been holding it in. I've never seen him that excited. He has been holding it in.
He's a sick puppy, mate. He's a sick puppy. I'll tell you what, mate. Anyone who goes to a preseason game like we did tonight and has a crack, like you're a twisted soul. Like there's something wrong with you. Like, we're cooked. We're all cooked.
We are. Man, I was at the reserves game today for half the game as well. Just to soak a little bit more in.
Actually, speaking of that, I think that was a big thing to take out of today. Doc coming back, like Jesus, man alive, like fuck that bloke. Jeez, you talk about doing it tough. 2 ACLs in cancer, like fuck me. Pardon the French, but like he's done it real tough. So good to see him. Good to see him come back unscathed and get a heap of the football, which is a big tick. Mm-hmm. And you would think he'd play round one off that. You'd think probably in for maybe Boyd or someone, or
Well, actually, that's no disrespect to Boyd, but I think Doc will. I think Doc will absolutely come and fill that hole. Jeez, we're talking about Walsh, Harry.
Doc. Yeah, I think for me, like I know. Look, the game was. Look, we look pretty good in patches. I mean, probably for the majority, really. When it was all swinging, it was really exciting to watch, if that makes sense. Because I know Jad mentioned it last year. Like the warning signs were there in that St Kilda game when we leaked when we were leaking like a rusty tap. But no, they clammed up again defensively, and like towards the end of the second half, like the forward line that we had up there just wasn't able to. It wasn't even a forward line. It was a bunch of makeshift defenders trying to hold the ball down. So, but I will reiterate Pommy's point. I actually didn't feel too worried with Melbourne sort of getting that. It was a run on, but it was not like complete and utter domination, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I turned to, because it was the old firm tonight. Mars, Maloney, and Rocco was there too. So I turned to Mars and I just said, this is it's a good scenario for us to be in.
Yeah.
It's okay. Well, the opposition's coming and we need to control the ball. And look, they did it in the last 2 to 3 minutes. They controlled the ball well and did what they had to do. And look, I think the beauty of it now is that there's a lot of upside in our team with regards to the inclusions we're going to have in the next couple of weeks. So obviously Walsh, Mackay, Charlie Curnow, I guess, but and Wiedering too. So look, I mean, there's no doubt that Melbourne went out to win. Clearly, I mean, they all do, and they were really getting pissed off. Like those? How many bloody 50-meter penalties were there?
Well, this is the thing that
Mate.
Obviously they're cracking down on the umpire abuse and all that.
Abuse, but that's just. I mean, what? Even when Petrarca got done, Cripps turned to him and smiled, and he's probably thinking, mate, Jesus, like, fuck, I know I've been done a beauty here. Like, it's, mate, thanks for that, but like, look, I mean, I think from a game perspective, defensively we looked a lot better, and we were. I think you can do it in a preseason. Like, it's not really going to affect you too much where you're able to take those risky kicks inside, So, but they didn't stop. They kept going, and handball chain was in full effect as well. And I think the two standouts. One guy I think who can hold his head up high was Zach Fisher. I really liked his game tonight.
Two very handy games. I think to lead up into the season. I think he's had a nice little preseason.
I think we can lock him in for. I think we can lock him in for round one. O'Brien was a little bit down on what he did last week, but still busy, still there. Was not, we're noticing him now, which is which is a complete change from what it was, in the last sort of 2 to 3 years. So, look, positive signs. But again, what do we take out of this? The fact that there haven't been injuries is a big tick. I'm not too sure what happened with Durden. I think it's a calf or something like that. So, geez, doesn't he look like he's got something to give this season? My golly,
he has put the size on. He's now doing a bit more of the ball.
He's thick, isn't he? He's not. He's small, but he's not. If that makes sense. Like he's a solid. Yeah. And I like the fact that he's able to. Like sometimes with these small forwards, they just go missing. They don't get a lot of the ball. Like he's there or abouts. He's always there. Nice user of the ball too. And I like the combination of him and Owies together. We were always struggling for that. I know we had Eddie last year, but Eddie was on his last legs. Yeah. It was a void that we had to fill. Now we've got two of them.
And they're super quick and they're super intense. And I think Owies even copped a really nasty knock. Got up straight away, just willing to just stay in the contest. And I look at that as a bit of a sign, they want to be out there. They're hungry. I see a hunger in the way that they're going about it. Now, granted, ground one, that's when it counts.
Of course, naturally. But you've got to set the standard at some point, don't you? Whether it's in training, whether it's in a practice game, whether it's, at least we're hitting the season with some momentum.
Yes.
And there's a good vibe, but it's not I don't think it's an over the top. It's not a Joseph Adamo type.
He's already got a nomination for Fan Cam of the Year, and we haven't even started the year.
I love you, Joey. I'm looking forward to having a beer with him next week at the season launch. But
yes, sir.
Love, and he's turning into one of my favorite players, Matt Kennedy. I thought he was fantastic tonight, and I think that's what we're really going to get from him all year. I think his ability now to cover the ground and get from that's the thing. Now you slim down, you're able to get to more contests, have more of an influence on the game, and he's just a footballer, isn't he? He just wants to go out there to play footy, no nonsense. He's tough, kicks the ball well, takes his goals well, and can't ask for much more from him, I don't think. Sardan Williams, a little bit down, you reckon? I wasn't. I
didn't mind him early. Early, he looked really. I mean, he played on Pickett for the majority of the first half. I didn't mind Sardi today. I didn't mind both of them. Did they stand out? I mean, the salaries are always going to be a talking point, but
so they should be. They should be.
Yes, I mean, they were okay. They were good enough, I think.
Yeah, anyway. Is okay good enough though? Probably not.
No.
Nah, Jack Martin was Jesus. We've dubbed him the boys and I have dubbed him the state of mind because he exists, but you can't actually see him. He was a ghost tonight. The state of mind, Jack Martin.
I think he and Harry were both in a situation where they just needed to get just some touch.
Yeah, I think so.
Just get out there and blow some cobwebs out against some quality opposition. And they have mentioned that they're building up Jack Martin. It was important to see him out there because you're right. Like he's been just kind of missing without a trace. So hopefully everything's okay with him, and he's out there tonight. So hopefully he just gets better from that and builds for round one.
Yeah, spot on. And I think, you know what? I think it's a case too with us. You don't want to go too over the top with regards to saying, oh yeah, we look good, we look great, but then you don't want to be too harsh and say, oh no, they look like crap and blah blah blah. So
yeah, that's right.
Look, as I said, I'm certain Melbourne were out there to give us a red old crack, but I like the way our midfield went head to head with theirs. You know, Hewitt and Chera have just added a real bit of grunt. You know, real bit of midfield class and some body in there. It's something we've lacked, you know, outside of Cripps. You know, you got Kennedy running through there now, Chera and Hewitt. So you look at them and they look like footballers. I know it's such a simple analysis of our midfield, but you look at them and you think, yep, you're a fully fledged, bona fide AFL midfielder. So look, onwards and upwards to round one. The Tigers are going to be missing a few from what I heard. I think Lambert's missing with a hip.
Yep.
Vlosten and Jack Graham might be missing as well. Don't hold me to that, but they are definitely gettable. Gettable. So
we are 2 weeks away. Two more weeks away.
I'm cautiously optimistic, Terry. Cautiously optimistic.
I'd love to see it. Love to see it, Paolo.
Yes, Upper Punch is back.
Yes.
March the 15th, Tuesday, 8 p.m.
We look forward to it, mate.
Keep a lookout, ladies and gentlemen. Look forward to doing it all again. And round one, 2 weeks away. We'll be back doing it again, doing this in 2 weeks, hopefully with some smiles on our face. I think there might be.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed, Paolo. Chat to you soon.
All right, guys. Have a good night.
See you, mate. Jesse F. Bumped into him tonight, 3/4 time. Great to see you at 3/4 time with a smile on the face, Tez. Absolutely, mate. Good to bump into you. Appreciate the 5. Let's get... Where is he? Riley.
God, that was good.
Oh, the smiles, the vibes.
That was good. And I think I was feeling pretty confident going into the season. And after tonight, I'm feeling a hell of a lot more confident.
Yeah.
Because you know when you watch preseason games and there's stuff where you see, oh, that might be temporary, and there's stuff which is real substance. We saw some real substance tonight.
Yeah.
With what we were doing.
At halftime, I was, with the people I was sitting around, and I'm like, well, can we just park it? Like, we've achieved what we needed to achieve, from a game. Obviously, that's not the case. You got to play 4 quarters, but the imagination really runs wild when you think about that first half and the additions to come. We're not talking about role players to come in. We're talking about 3 of our best 5, 6 players to come into the side. And this is a team that's lost top players and not been able to recover from that. So,
there's something different about this group, and I think it's something that's been unlocked in the last 6 months, and this might be a little. There's a lot of things we could go through, but a little intangible. I think there's a lot more seriousness in the building, and this might sound really silly, but there's something. I was reading the other week, the New York Yankees, when players come to there's this rule about having to be clean shaven, no beards or anything when they come in. And I sort of look at the way TDK, haircut, serious. Zach Fisher, haircut, serious. We look serious. And it's the little things, but they're the important things. And I think that's what we're starting to see with this group now. Finally, we've been screaming for it for so long. We know what we can achieve. It's just, it's tangible. It's genuinely tangible, and we saw hints of it tonight, I think.
There was a moment which I was sitting 4 rows from the front on the wing, right next to our bench, and there was a moment at the end of the first quarter. Obviously, it was a pretty solid first quarter from us. And you talk about the intangibles and our coaching group, all of them coming through. You've got Bossy, thick, powerful, strong man. You got Aaron Greaves, thick, tall, powerful. Aaron Hamill. They walk past me, and I'm looking at them, and I'm like, these 4 blokes walk into any room and you're like, who are these men? And there's a presence around the coaching group, and that's changed. That's an intangible. That's absolutely changed. That is not, I didn't have the same, I don't know, it was kind of like an intensity with all of them put together. It was very interesting to see.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think there's certainly an intensity in the group now. Which has been very impressive to see. I think the midfield tonight was immensely impressive as well.
Yeah.
When the heat was genuinely on in that game, I mean, you look at halftime, Melbourne won the hit-outs 23-11. We won clearances 25-15. It was an impressive outing, and the fact of the matter is when George Hewitt's going to be your fourth best or fifth best midfielder, you are going okay.
Yeah,
you are going okay, and I think tonight was the perfect simulation for what conditions are going to be like this year. I'm glad we were put under the pump. I'm glad we got in that situation where we had to protect the game at the end.
Yep,
it was fantastic. I think in terms of concerns tonight, obviously, Durden, there was that little talk of the injury, but that was fine. But apparently that was a little calf nick. I thought Jack Martin, I know a couple of people mentioned him, I thought he was pretty ordinary. I just have this feeling they might play Lewis Young round one. Over McDonald, yeah. And the reason for that is if you've watched Richmond the last couple of weeks, they've been using Ivan Soldo forward pretty heavily. Now that's a big body, 204 centimeters, 107 kilos. So I think Omac's probably the better option.
Yeah.
Generally speaking, but if you're going to look at that, Wiedering takes a Lynch, Young takes a Soldo. That probably makes sense. I don't know if an Omac could play on that size defender or that size forward. Sorry,
I actually had thought about Soldo because in my head I'm thinking Lynch and Revolt. I haven't even considered Soldo. So that's an interesting point.
Yeah. So I mean, he kicked a couple of goals last week, so that's the consideration. That's the consideration for that. Obviously, a couple of people in comments talking. Obviously, there were the haircuts for Docs. Of course, that's absolutely there.
But the hairs have grown. Look, the hairs have grown back.
They've grown back since then. That's grown back since then. So it's not like obviously there was that, but they've grown back since then. So I think it's just a general sense of seriousness in the side. But look, there was a hell of a lot more positives tonight and negatives. I think second half up forward you can't read much into it, really. I mean, it was a makeshift forward line with three defenders.
Yeah,
for God's sake. And two of them played in the VFL today.
Yeah, that was the other part as well. I think I saw Willow there with Parks. He took the nice mark, and I'm thinking, very nice.
He kicked a goal from 55.
He did.
Parks kicked the goal.
Yeah. No, look, it was good. I think the other part that I'm mindful of is would love to have seen Harry and Charlie at some point in this preseason together.
Yeah.
But to get a dress rehearsal for Richmond. But look, you can't have it perfectly. We've had injuries as well this preseason, but I think the application tonight gives us a bit of confidence that we're going to be having a red hot crack come round one.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that, and I'm not going to say we're going to go on a run like this, but I sort of, it's been, 8 years since we beat Richmond. Just look ahead to round one. Now, with Hawthorn and the Kennett curse, with what happened with Geelong, once that was released, it just lifted the burden on this group. I am fully of the if we can beat Richmond, the confidence in this group, irrespective of where Richmond was last year and over the journey, it's a massive mental hurdle for us. If it's something that we can overcome, the sky can honestly be the limit. Yeah. So we've never had a better chance than in 2 weeks' time. We haven't. Not in this whole journey. With Walsh, without Walsh, we are just as good a football side. We'll have the crowd behind us. It's our home game, and I've got to say, every Carlton member better be there at the G.
85,000 minimum.
No, absolutely, and it has to be 65 of us at a minimum. Lock the fuckers out for God's sakes. But yeah, I'm feeling good about the year. The especially that first half, I saw enough. Between you and I think watching that, I was really hoping we just called the game at halftime. I've seen enough. Just get everyone off.
I feel that. I felt that. Trust me, I felt that.
It's just like, let's call it. Let's go to round one.
Yeah.
But yeah. I mean, we've seen a few pre-season false dawns in our history with Carlton, but this felt different.
Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we get through, get our players back, and then everyone's back. Obviously, Walshy. Look, there's whispers that he's going to try for round one, but just I'm not holding my my hopes too high.
I'll say this though, on two things in the midfield. We're talking about midfield that we talked about last couple of weeks. If you said last year when we lost Cripps, it was a midfield of Walsh, Curnow, and Dow, for example.
Yeah.
And this year when we lose Walsh and it's Cripps, Chera, Hewitt. I know which one I feel better about. So I'm not, obviously it's a massive loss, but I'm not that worried. And if you want a big call, I will say this. By the end of next year, as Carlton fans, we will look on the midfield of Walsh when they play together, Cripps, Chera. We'll look at them as better than we ever did of Judd, Murphy, Gibbs. I think it'll be the best midfield we've seen this century for us.
Love it.
It just excites me. It excites me. I'm almost at Joe Adamo levels.
I love it. I don't think anyone's going to top that this year.
No one will top that. But that's the best thing I've seen in a while. That's like the antithesis of ruthless aggression from Mark.
Mate, that is fan cam of the year, and it's before round one.
Oh,
anyway,
good, mate.
It is what it is, mate. Good to have you on. Good to see you smiling, and we'll chat soon.
Chat soon, man.
See you, mate. Ari.
Harry.
How you feeling, my man?
Happy. Just like winning is just so good. I don't even care if it's in a practice game, and I felt this after the St Kilda game. Winning is just good, and in the manner in which we did it, especially that first half, very promising. Very, very promising.
Yeah, very positive. I almost lost focus in the third quarter. I'm like, it's a bit of a dead rubber. I was kind of hoping that we would be tested, and we were. And I think Jad mentioned it earlier that, the D's got on a run, but we seemed to stretch the run out more than what it was in the past. Rather than it being, 4 goals in 3 minutes, for example, it was sort of stretched out over time. I didn't realize how many players we subbed off at halftime as well. I didn't have a radio in my ear or anything like that. So, in terms of, the back line, this is something I haven't brought up yet tonight. So, Vossi spoke about like changing the narrative, and we don't want to rely on one player. And this was after the Walsh injury, and I think I noticed that tonight with the defensive mechanism. No Wiedering. We all look at him as our most valuable player, if not our second most valuable player or third. And then the way I look at how our defense held up tonight, I'm thinking whatever's being built, you can see there's a bit of a foundation there for a system. Wiedering didn't play, but Oscar McDonald and Lewis Young and Mitch McGovern as a trio, I think held the fort down pretty well.
Yeah. Last year it was pretty much Jones and Wiedering go to the two best. Plowman plays on the small, and then that's pretty much it. It was pretty much one-on-one. Now we have you have the two keys, you have McGovern floating, and it works better because then you get like Sard and Williams into the game more, and hopefully Stocker, when he comes back, he can start having more of an influence. But I thought they were very good, especially considering Brown played pretty much the whole game. Wiedemann came on in the last quarter. They had Fridge played the whole game. They had their full strength forward line for the majority of it, and we held up pretty well. There was no 5-goal swings. There was 2 4-goal swings, but no 5-goal swings, which is good. And something that in the St Kilda game I noticed, they had to work hard for their goals, especially in those swings. I think the reason why it was dragged out more was because we just were first to every contest after they kicked 2-3 in a row. We were just a little bit more proactive. Whereas I think that's definitely a coaching thing, because under Teague, you saw when the opposition kicked 2-3 in a row, our heads dropped. We were just a little bit lazy and we just didn't really care, to put it bluntly. But it was very positive.
There was there seems to be a renewed sense of energy, which you would expect with a new coaching group and the amount of changes we've had as a footy club. And then also you add the energy of the crowd and the excitement, I guess, to maybe atone for what was last year, which, listen, if we're feeling like it was dreadful, I'm sure the players are feeling it was even worse. Yeah. So, they're the ones that are actually on the inside. And I sense there's a bit of I don't know if you call it a chip on our shoulder, but there's a serious point to prove. These are good footballers. We all think they're very talented, but unfortunately, the individuality doesn't really cut it in this league. It's the team thing. So I really did enjoy the fact that there was a togetherness tonight. Yeah,
I think if I had to pick a negative, and I had to be that person, but
no, it's something to grow off.
Was it just me, or did we look a little bit unfit towards the back end? Or was that more player issues with like half of them subbed out, half of them were like VFL players or players that had already played today? Did you pick up anything on that?
I actually thought about it. I did think about it, not going to lie. I wasn't sure if it was a fitness thing or if it was a game management thing. Or, I think the amount of times we tried to go into our forward half with this makeshift forward line that we had, I think there was a bit of a, oh, God, this forward line isn't working emotion within the guys.
Well, it was 3 defenders, so, like, he can't really we were kicking to Plowman as if he was, like, Jack Martin or someone. So it wasn't really, like, every 50-50 that someone like a Harry Mackay could win. If it was Harry Mackay in that situation, we'd pretty much always lose that in the second half because of the player was just like we didn't have Harry Mackay in the forward line, so it was coming defensively a lot more.
Yeah, I think. When I think about our midfield, like the engine room. You look at the last time we had 4 players with 30 touches or more was like 2019. I think I saw the stat. Our midfielders covered. Matt Kennedy covered the ground exceptionally. So did Hewitt, Chera, even Cripps. I thought he covered the ground well. I don't know. Look, the answer will probably come in the next month. We'll probably find out by round 4 or 5 if we're not fit. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure just yet.
There's no better test than the Tigers because they will come at us like hell for leather. So if we can hold up, we held up against the D's pretty well. Like they stormed time. I think they kicked 8 of the last 10, something along those lines, and we held sturdy. We held structure well. We didn't lose that like solidity with our defense. It was just more they were just like had momentum and everything was like things were bouncing their way, etc. But yeah, it was a good win. I think winning was very important for me.
For sure.
Because
the other thing as well, the roof was closed and it was hot. It was so hot in there. Yeah, it was boiling.
So yeah, well, again, that helps because you want to train and play practice games in worse conditions, so you get used to those. And then when it comes to MCG Thursday night, like I'm assuming it'd be like 20 degrees or something, it's gonna be perfect. But Durden, I want to speak about him.
Let's talk about
him.
And
I know how long have you got, right? But I said this, I was like, if you said 3 years ago that we'd have 4 small forwards that could all come in and pretty much do a role. Motlop's the asterisk because we don't know. But always Durden and Honey, if you count Honey as a small forward, can all come in and do a role. When was the last time since Bet, Scarlett, Yaron that we could have said that?
You're right. It was a hole that we identified we needed to fill. I think between those 4 over the next 5 to 10 years, I think we're in good hands. I think always is really underrated. He gets overlooked. He doesn't have I don't know what it is. Maybe it's because he's been on the list for a while and he's a basketballer and he's a convert. He is tough, man. He's tough.
Yeah. And it's because he's not like he's pretty much the opposite of someone like a Pickett, where Pickett's very flashy, very quick on his feet, whereas always is just proficient. Like he'll get you the 4 tackles. He'll kick at least a goal a game minimum. He's just very good at what he does. Whereas he doesn't have that flashy side of it, which isn't a necessity by any means.
Yeah, no, spot on. Spot on, my man. I look forward to speaking to you again. I think we've got one more video with you and Costa to come out. And then
yes, we do.
Yes, we do. And then we will move forward from there.
There we go. Can't wait.
All right, brother. Take it easy. See ya. Chris.
There you go, mate.
Loving the backdrop. Look at the color.
Yeah, I just installed the Google color changes, so I put navy blue on for celebrations tonight because
it's all in the details. What did you make of that tonight?
Look, I just want to go through some of the stats because the pressure was fantastic, but some of these performances, Kennedy 37 touches, 2 goals, 2 with 9 clearances. What's his best game before that? Maybe high 20s or something. George Hewitt as well. This guy, just a workhorse. This guy, 33 touches, 21 handballs, which is fantastic as well. And he got 7 clearances as well. And Cripps as well, obviously 4 goals, 30 touches, just brilliant. Just absolutely brilliant in the midfield. Too good.
It's been a long time since we've had we've usually had one midfielder, maybe two, that can give us that 25-30. To have four guys that can do it, and when Walsh comes in, he's a walking 30 every week. And the reality is, the teams that are up at the top of the ladder have 3, 4, maybe even 5 guys that can get you those high 20 possession tallies. Now, possessions are not the be-all and end-all. It's obviously the impact that you have with them, but it's good to see that we seem to have a better midfield mix than what we had last year. And that's really all you can ask for right now. It's got to look a little different to what it did last year, because last year was no good.
Yeah, well, I feel like I want to take the lid off too. I mean, I think this midfield now is starting to look like a top 4 midfield. I'm being 100% serious. That was a top 4 midfield performance tonight. Melbourne had no answers. No answers, Derek. It was amazing. For 2.5 quarters, we were unplayable. We were playing the Premiers, we were unplayable for 2.5 quarters.
It's true. You're right.
Melbourne came back because they're a great team and they wanted this game. Don't anyone tell you any excuses? Oh, they didn't try. They were playing. They played all their players 90% of the game. Their best players. I think the highest we had was maybe 92, and that was McDonald. So they put everything in this game to win this, and we just beat them because we wanted it more. We were just better across the whole ground. It wasn't like defense they couldn't penetrate. Forward line was just keeping it in there, and the midfield was just dominated. Like it was sad to watch for Melbourne fans, because it was like dude, they had no shot for like 2.5 quarters. It was just Cripps flying through, and just the cleanliness of hands in the midfield. Oh my God! Imagine Walsh on the end of those handballs.
It's exciting. The imagination runs wild when you think about what could come in, but. No, we're going to enjoy it tonight. We'll take a deep breath tomorrow and calm down. But for tonight, I think we should enjoy it. It's been a positive preseason, I think, and we can move forward, get a few good players back in. I think I saw Sam Doherty today. I watched him play. He was outstanding. If he comes in, maybe for like a Jordan Boyd, if that's what we're replacing Jordan Boyd, if Doc comes in for him, then there's another positive there as well. And I think there's an emotional subplot to the Doc return. I think it'll lift the group as well. And, we just got to beat Richmond round 1. We've been saying it for, the better part of 6 months now. We just got to do it.
I think we're lock-ins to beat Richmond the way we played tonight. I don't think they have a shot, mate. They got players out. They're still figuring it out, and we are coming in. We've just beat the reigning premiers. We should be favourites. We should be favourites. I saw someone posted wood $3.50. I think we'll come in easily to $1.90 after that.
Yeah.
I mean,
let's see. All right, my man. Good to speak to you.
No worries, mate. Have a good one.
You too. See ya. Maddie.
Hey, Terry.
How you doing?
I didn't watch a lot of the game. I saw bits and pieces.
Okay.
I was out, so I was watching bits and pieces on my phone. But I did run into Luke Sayers.
Okay.
When I was out. He seemed very bullish about not just tonight's game, but how we're going as a team. And I think that game just showed it. I heard, I think it was Paul asked before how many 50s that Melbourne had. It was 8. It was a lot.
It was a record. Oh, sorry, not a record. I think it was 1999, the last time a team had given away that many 50-meter penalties. It was very interesting. And I think that's the other part. I don't want to spoil the party, but I think a lot went right for us tonight in terms of the 50-meter penalties went our way. A lot of free kicks went our way. And I think there's something in that we need to just realize won't happen for us every week as well.
Yeah. I don't know whether it's like the Carlton supporter in me that's just scarred.
It is. It absolutely is.
I'm worried that we won, if that makes sense. Like there's something about it. It's like I'm I'm not sure. I don't know how to react. I'm not sure. It's just that bit that's like,
I mean, look, it's no different to the Melbourne supporters. I was talking to Caden McDonald at halftime, and I've been speaking to him a bit in the preseason, and he was saying as well, you still, even though they've won the flag, you don't know how to react because they've been poor for so long.
Yeah.
So I think it's going to take some adjusting for us when this team becomes good consistently. I think it's going to take some adjusting. I think in the back of our minds, we'll always be ready. Like, I mean, start of that fourth quarter, Melbourne kicked a couple of goals, and I'm thinking, oh, well, seen this before. I know where this goes.
Yeah.
So I think there's a bit of that in there.
Yeah. It's just hopefully round one.
Hopefully. All right, Maddie. I'll catch you soon.
See ya.
See ya. Josh.
Tez, how we doing, mate?
Yeah, doing well, Mr. Tommy Jeans.
I was texting my footy group chat, and they've told me all come back to earth. So, and I've kind of lost my voice, so footy is really bad. Footy's back.
You let that group chat know from me personally that the noise is coming, and the city is on notice. The country actually is on notice.
We're coming, boys.
We are. Now, is it going to be this year? I don't know. I hope so. But promising preseason, and that's all it is. And it sort of starts and ends there.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, obviously, it wasn't perfect because of the 2 4-goal stretches that happened, but it wasn't like hit out clearance goal. It was a bit slower, which was promising because last year in 2020 it was just instant clearance and the opposition would get a goal. And just remember the Geelong game in 2020? It was like that when they came back. That was awful. And that wasn't the case at all tonight. And I know we got to hold our horses because it is pre-season. But, yeah, it looked really promising overall. I was impressed with McGovern. I think moving him back is definitely the right move. And there was a certain play, and it reminded me of that little stretch of his brother 2018 in the grand final. This role just suits him perfectly. And I loved Kennedy. I counted 4 really good strong marks where he's landed on the ground really hard and 37 touches. And this guy was struggling to get a game in the AFL last year. He was just playing in the VFL, and look at him.
It's withering away. And I think there's something to be said for Matt Kennedy, even just with life. I mean, when things are not going your way, he could have very easily said, you know what, I'll just go to another club, get an opportunity somewhere else. I know I'll get a game somewhere else, and I know they'll play me here or whatnot. And no, and was it unfair for him to not be playing? Probably. And I think there's just an understanding he seems to have to want to do it the hard way, which is not something that I'm used to seeing from people that have, come through our club. And I like his story, and I hope he continues it. I hope he has a great year, and I hope he really breaks out, because what I've seen from him over the last, in this preseason has been really impressive. I also think Chera and Hewitt help him a lot.
Yes, definitely.
They've kind of given him a new insight into how to prepare, maybe, and I think it's rubbed off on him.
Yes, 100%. And I'll tell you who else has had a great game. Fisher. Yep. We need him to step up while Walsh is out. And, well, not only him, we need everyone to step up. I mean, all those players that play around the middle, they all need to step up. And I was pretty critical of Fish last year. I thought he was a bit lazy and all that. And I know it's only preseason, as I've said, but this is what we need. I think he had over 25 touches, If we can get 20 to 25 touches from him week to week, that's all we ask, really. And he kicked a good goal, It's exciting. It's exciting.
It is.
I'm feeling the buzz.
Are you confident for round 1 before I let you go?
Yes, 100%. I've got a really good feeling. If Richmond have got I know it feels kind of shitty saying this because I do want to play Richmond at full strength, and because it's just kind of shitty to say that. But if I feel really confident, I feel very confident. I understand that we'll probably be without Walsh, and who knows what else could happen in between now and then. Fingers crossed, obviously. But yeah, hopefully it's all good. And obviously kudos to Doc, mate. 38 touches. That's unreal.
Yeah, it was sensational today. It was really impressive.
Yeah, a lot to look forward to. Let's hope. I think 2022 is the year. I say that every year, but I've got a different feeling about this one.
We also say that every year. I love it.
That's it.
I love it.
Anyways,
good on you, brother.
Love you, Tez. See ya.
See ya, mate. Dylan.
Yo, what up, Terry?
How are you, bro?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Mate, I'm satisfied.
That's good to hear.
Talk to me. What was your feeling about tonight?
The big king TDK. He looked amazing. I loved how he was just going up for the fly, trying to take a mark. It looked so good.
Yeah, I didn't realize it. Maybe it was the hair.
Yeah.
Because it was longer, maybe it didn't seem like he had filled out. He is really filled out across his body. He doesn't look like a little boy, or not a little boy. That's the wrong word. He doesn't look like a boy anymore. He looks a lot more like a man than what he did last year.
Yeah. I love these tackle down like the side of the ground with Jaden Hunt. That was it was amazing.
Yeah, and I think that goes further to what we've been saying all night. There's a desperation, there's a hunger, there's a will, there's a look in their eyes. Yeah, last year maybe you let that Jaden Hunt run past because you're a ruckman, you can give up on it and you know that it's okay. But yeah, there just seemed to be a real zest for the contest and an appetite for it.
Yes, he's going to be an S tier ruckman in the future. I'm telling you.
I think so.
Yeah.
I want to ask you, I haven't asked too many tonight, but the forward line. Now, we've got Owies and Durden. I asked on Monday night if people were interested to see both of them play in round one. What do you think?
Oh, I think it would work. It just depends if we're shuffling everybody through. Like obviously I want Fisher up there because he's just skill on the ground ball is just perfect. But then you got Durden and always tackling pressure, so.
Yeah, I think we've got a good mix down there. I know Martin will play. I know Fisher plays the half forward role now. Ultimately, you've got to pick 7. One of them will probably start on the bench. But I think, Harry, Charlie, Jack Silvani are locks in there. And then if you put the 2 small forwards with Jack Martin and Zach Fisher, I don't know. I just think that's the 7. Yeah.
What about Ed Kerno? Where do you think he's going to be? I've been wondering.
I mean, he's coming back from a knee. So full strapping last week, played in the reserves, played a half tonight. I think Ed's a soldier and Ed's a warrior. And I think when it comes to a situation where we say, Ed, we need you to fill in while she's out this week, I think Ed's going to fill that role perfectly. And he's a great clubman. And I think no matter what he does, he'll just play the way that we want our players to play.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, mate. Good to have you on.
Yeah. See you, Terry.
See you, mate. Zach.
Hello.
How are we?
I'm much better.
Much better?
Much better than, say, after the North Melbourne game last year, for example. Much more positive. I mean, that's just one of the games last year when I wasn't feeling the best. So, look, I might not be able to drink the physical Kool-Aid, but I can drink the spiritual Kool-Aid.
Are you on it already? You've seen enough.
I know. Look, I think the old Carlton would have lost that game, to be fair. Like, the old Carlton would have capitulated. They would have not had the capacity, especially when playing kind of a reserve team against the reigning premiers. They wouldn't have had the capacity to hold the Melbourne forward line and their power. And that's a really good thing. Like, players that aren't used to playing in defense are playing in defense, and they look not as good or as comfortable as Jones did, but they still look okay. Like McGovern, I think his first 2 kind of interactions, he was a bit shaky, but then he kept making tackles, spoils, and I think he just built confidence really, really well.
Yeah, I think so too. I mean, we're clearly trying to build a system, and a system where we're not so heavily reliant on individual brilliance. And it's funny because when you build what I've noticed over the last few years with the great teams, once you build the system, you actually get the individual greatness within it. I think the midfield, the engine room worked a treat tonight. And, you know, I noticed a lot of the overlap running. I noticed a lot more of a willingness to, rather than just quickly get it going forward, handball backwards to go forwards and just sort of move the defense a bit and give them something else to look at. So I don't want to get too excited, but I am.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Yeah.
Like I remember in 2019, it was Cripps and that was basically it. And he had to work his ass off every week to try and get us over the line. And now he's in a better midfield. He's more comfortable. And if he can give us performances like that every week, then I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. Oh, of course. Of course. I mean, he tackled 8 times. The big thing with me, with Cripps, is when he's tackling 6, 7, 8 times a game, you know he's engaged. We're a better team. And I think when you've got the 2 new boys in there as well who love a bit of grunt work, I think it works well.
Yeah. Especially if he gets the hard ball as well. Then you got guys like Chera, guys like Kennedy, Walsh when he gets back. They can enter inside 50 much better. Now that we've got better forwards like Durden and Owies, they can lower their eyes as well, and we can get goals from that.
No, it's true. Round 1, what are some of the changes you think will happen?
Look, I hope Doherty comes back, but I'm going to be like leaning with that. I'm not going to rush him. I don't want to rush him in. I don't think Voss will rush him in. I think it'll be kind of a every week, like assess with him and then see. Mackay, Curnow. I think the obvious changes will come back in because I'm sure we'd love to beat Richmond round 1. I'd love to beat Richmond round 1 as well. So
true. Good on you, mate. We'll chat soon.
See you soon, bud.
See ya. All right. Lucky last. Chris Beach.
Hallelujah. I know it's only pre-season, but fuck it, I'm going to say it. Hallelujah. We beat the Premiers.
Oh, it's too good. It's way too good.
Now, I admit, I was at cricket training tonight, so I only saw probably a little bit of the first half and the entire last quarter. And I saw what I saw. I was pretty satisfied with, a 10-goal first half. The only thing I'm probably going to be critical of is how we finished. Because if we play like this, if we finish like that against Richmond and the real stuff, and Melbourne and the real stuff, Richmond Bulldogs, we're getting killed because they're going to absolutely spank us, and they're going to spank us quickly. Now, I admit we were probably a little lucky to get away with that tonight, but nonetheless, it's a win. We pretty much got through unscathed, and Sam Doherty to come back. The life of a Carlton supporter rolls on.
I think, I found myself thinking at halftime in a really weird, twisted, sadistic way. I didn't want us to run away with it and win by 10, 12 goals because I think there is still so much that we need to work on. And I didn't want to get into a false sense of positivity. I'm positive about what's happened tonight, and I'm positive about this preseason so far, and I'm positive about the buy-in and the coaching staff and all of that. But I think we're under no illusions. We are still quite some way off it. But to have the performances that we've had over the last 2 weeks, to have the application, to have some of these guys who we've been talking about individually who are saying, oh, gosh, he really needs to step it up or else, or it's a make or break, or where's he at, or, if this, could he, should he, maybe he. So I think we move with more positives and negatives, but we've also got some questions to answer. So
we do.
And it hasn't been too bad on the injury front. I know Walsh is a nasty one, but it hasn't been as bad as he's gone by.
No, exactly. And okay, sure, it's a syndesmosis injury on the ankle. They usually linger. Now, I know you said they're trying to get him back for round 1. Let's not rush it, because one wrong step out on that field again or on the training track, and he's got a setback, which sets us back even further.
No, it's true. I mean, I was talking about it tonight with someone. In my head, I'm thinking when he gets to 100% fitness, give him an extra 2 weeks, even on top of that. But obviously, that'll be, we've got professionals down there that'll make the call, and I put my faith in them to know when he's ready more than what I will. But yeah, it's been a good night. It's good to be back. It's good to be happy, and hopefully we're doing this again in 2 weeks with 4 points. Not wondering how good were we against Melbourne and not so good against Richmond.
I'm doing this, Tez, because I'm going that night. And I am going to be praying like hell that we are going to be knocking these pigs off, because we're fucking overdue, Terry. Let's be honest. We are fucking overdue to beat these pricks.
That we fucking are, mate. Love your work, Beachy. We will chat soon for sure.
Good on you, Tez. Cheers, pal.
See you, mate. All right. I love that. That was fun. It's midnight. I've got to get to sleep. I need to be up early. But thanks very much for joining. It was a good, positive experience tonight. Good to get the win, first and foremost, and good to chat and share the emotion and sense the sentiment amongst everyone here in the audience. I think there's plenty of positives, couple of negatives, but within the negatives, we'll also find some positives and some hope. And like I said, hopefully we're doing this in 2 weeks' time after a win. That's really all that matters. And we can put the past behind us and finally move forward and enjoy what this group can do. So enjoy your night, everybody. The review will be out tomorrow, and we will go from there.